Welcome to the unsteady pressure analysis of a three-stage turbine, searching for non-synchronous vibrations and lock-in. I'm Richard Hollenbach. Turbo machines have become some of the most powerful machines in the world. You can find them as jet engines powering aircraft, steam turbines powering cities, and even in rocket pumps for missiles and spaceships. But how are these complex pieces of equipment designed? Major engine companies such as Rolls-Royce and Pratt & Whitney have each developed their own tools. These are CFD and aeroelastic codes that can help predict dangerous issues as their engines are designed. Rolls-Royce, for example, uses AU3D, and Pratt & Whitney calls their code UTCFD. Many companies also use commercial software such as ANSYS CFX. But what exactly are they searching for? Common aeroelastic phenomena such as flutter and forced response are well known and have current design tools. Less well known is something called non-synchronous vibrations. Non-synchronous vibrations, or NSV, occurs as non-integer multiples of engine rotation frequencies, giving it its name. Kilb et al. Presented experimental evidence of the separated flow vibrations, or SFV, and NSV in a paper in 2003. NSV is a two-frequency problem, but contains large amplitudes of vibration, seen on the right-hand side of the strain gauge data on the left-hand plot. On the right-hand side, you'll see an attempt to model NSV in CFD, but the resulting frequency was 9% off, so more in-depth studies were needed to be done to further understand NSV. Diagonal vortex shedding line locks in to the natural frequency when it approaches said natural frequency, as seen in the upper left-hand plot. While locked in, there is a single coherent frequency and resonant-like vibrations occur. However, when it is unlocked or farther away from the natural frequency, there are two distinct frequencies, that being the vortex shedding and the said natural frequency. The size of the lock-in region is amplitude dependent, leading to a V-shaped like region, such as the top right-hand plot. Now, the natural frequency can be replaced with an enforced motion frequency, such as during an aeroelastic experiment in a wind tunnel. Now, to fully understand NSV, the unsteady pressures need to be fully understood. Now, previously, unsteady pressures were measured in flutter, but there was only one contribution, and that was due to the motion of the body. NSV contains unsteady pressures due to the vortex shedding and the motion of the object, so it's a much more complicated phenomenon to study. For this presentation, I will focus on the computational simulations that are performed to validate wind tunnel experiments. These simulations will later compare against cheaper reduced-ordered models that will lead to the preliminary design tool for NSV. I'm also going to omit the simpler cases, that being a cylinder and a NACA 012 airfoil, and focus on the simulations of a three-stage turbine. Now, this model experienced NSV-like conditions at low mass flow rates. Now, rather than simulating the full turbine, we modified the blade count to simulate a single passage. We will start at design conditions and then slow down the mass flow rate to slowly approach NSV conditions and hopefully capture it. The simulation process is as follows. I begin with simple two-dimensional simulations in that I plotted lots of pressure contours to ensure proper flow behavior through my model seen in the upper right-hand figure. Quickly I moved to three-dimensional to fully understand what's going on, and on the middle right figure you can see the streamlines of the 3D model. Now, my first simulations completed are steady state, meaning none of the blades are rotating. Once I take the solution of that, I will then use transient blade row simulations where the rotors rotate, and I will plot the streamlines and the pressure contours seen in the bottom two figures. Here are some sample simulation results for the fifth slowest simulation on the second speed line. So in the top figure, I plotted the pressure contours, and you can see a steady drop in pressure as you move through the three stages. In the second plot, I'm plotting entropy, which is a good way to identify potential vortices or possible NSV-like phenomenon. So you can see a little bit of a vortex coming off of the first cavity. Finally, some transient simulations. I plotted streamlines for the first, second, and third stage, and you can see a little bit of a vortex coming off the first cavity after the first stage, validating previous results done by Franck in 2019.